Hey y'all, TRG here, and welcome to the first update of 2024 for the hurricane season. We're going to be talking about the potential for a tropical system as we go into this upcoming weekend. Let's go right ahead and dive on into today's video. So we're going to start out with the GEFS ensembles. Yes, we have ensembles for tropical systems as well. This is probably one of the more accurate things that we can use. And right off the bat, as we go towards June 8th, you're going to notice a bit of a hot spot for the potential of tropical activity out here in the Caribbean. Watch that area continue to grow. Watch how we get into the orange there as we go towards June 11th into June 12th. So I do believe we have a pretty good chance at seeing a spin-up tropical system. I don't see a tropical storm or a hurricane at the moment, which is why we're just going to monitor it. But there's definitely going to be the potential for at least a tropical system to go up towards the, oh my goodness, it's been a long time, towards Cuba, towards Florida, and then of course up towards the mid-Atlantic area. I don't think this is going to have that many impacts with it. It is far out, so I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So just take note, this is far enough out to the point where we don't want to be looking at specifics. That's why we're looking at the ensemble, but we will go ahead and look at the overall patterns for this system to form. So I do believe we're going to have at least a chance as we go into this upcoming Saturday, Sunday for a tropical system. We're going to try to do every other day updates here. This will be interfering with our daily live streams, so there's a very high chance we will no longer be doing daily live streams, but we're going to see and kind of just do a mix between both of them. Whenever we're not doing live streams, or even if I just have spare time, we'll do videos as well. So just to show you the precipitation type, like I said, we don't really want to pay attention to specifics here. Just look at the overall pattern. So we should have a high pressure up here, and we should have a high pressure over the central portion of the U.S. So what that really is going to allow for is that's going to allow for this high pressure to try to pull this system up into the U.S., but it's also going to deflect it. So I don't think we're going to see that many direct impacts. There's a good chance that this just goes towards Cuba and then out to sea. There's also a chance it just goes straight up towards Florida and then out to sea. So I don't think this will be going through like the central portion of the U.S., but it's definitely a possibility that we get, maybe some rain out of this as we go towards, if we just pull this on out, you'll see it really starts to pick up towards the 10th and the 11th as it moves on to the Florida Peninsula there. Again, can't really talk about specifics, but I do believe we're at least going to see some rain out of this system. So we'll just keep an eye on it. Nothing to worry about at the moment, but it's the first system that's really caught my eye. So, of course, we got to look at the sea surface temperatures. Again, we are wanting to look at the pattern. And, yeah, I don't think we got to look at this again. We'll just look at it to remind y'all that this is going to be very favorable for any type of development. The main issue with this season is just going to be the wind shear, which shouldn't be that much of a problem, is at least towards August and into September. It might be a bit of an issue towards the earlier start of the season, say like the month we're in now, June and July. But sea surface temperature is not going to be an issue, so we'll really have to keep an eye on wind shear. So here's your wind shear currently, and you can see we have a lot of wind shear over the Gulf and the Caribbean, which is why I don't think we're going to see any type of interesting things until the latter half of this week. Once that high pressure builds into the U.S., it should allow for at least some lesser shear on the southern side of the high pressure, but still, that wind shear is going to be present, which is why I don't think we're going to see a tropical storm or a hurricane. So we're going to have a little window of a favorable environment for at least a tropical system to form as we go towards, like I said, June 9th, maybe into June 10th. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And then as we pull this out even more, you'll see it just kind of leaves. Not much to speak of. And then after that, we're just way too far out. For tropical systems, you never want to look more than 200 hours out. Right here, we're looking at 198 hours out, but this has been here for a few runs. It's also on all the other model runs, so it's not just on the GFS, but unfortunately, I can only show you guys the GFS and then the GFS ensembles. So here is the cyclonic vorticity, of course, at about 700 millibars up. And you'll notice once again, as we go towards June 8th, June 9th, right there in the Caribbean along the Yucatan Peninsula, we will be keeping an eye out for, again, a quick spin-up tropical system. I, again, don't believe this will be a storm or a hurricane, but we will have to wait until we get closer to actually see what strength this may end up being. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And then I really don't think we'll have another opportunity until probably late June. We're going to have probably two opportunities, one in mid-June, which should be towards the later portion of this week, so more of early June, and then another opportunity probably just around the time frame of June 20th, but that's too far out to say anything about, so we'll just focus on this system towards June 8th and June 9th. So here's our sea surface temperature anomalies over the last 7 days or so, and you can see that we are starting to cool off here. So I do believe we're going into that neutral to La Nina phase. It's still going to take a few more months, most likely, but we should be in that La Nina phase as we go towards July or so, maybe August. So what that's going to do is it's pretty much going to lessen the amount of wind shear we see out there in the Caribbean, the Gulf, and into the main development region. And we're also looking at quite a few waves coming off of the coast of Africa. So we should have a very active season in place. If you want to see my hurricane forecast, I've already done a video on that. So here's another ensemble, and I just want to show you guys what this one shows. It shows nearly the same ordeal as we go towards June 8th into June 9th. Shows it a little bit more east. You'll notice it kind of keeps it around the eastern side of Cuba, and then actually has a second area as we go into June 11th and June 12th that goes over the Florida Peninsula. So again, it seems like our general ordeal is going to be a tropical wave forming out here, probably off of, if I had to say, South America or the Yucatan, one or the other, making its way somewhere towards Cuba and near Florida and the Bahamas, and then eventually, of course, going out to sea. It won't go exactly where I drew there because we'll have a high pressure right in place, so it's impossible for it to go right into that high pressure. But again, general idea is that we'll have to be watching this general area for the potential of tropical development. Again, I don't see a tropical storm or hurricane in the near future, but we'll just watch it just in case. So here is the Weather Prediction Center's outlook for June, July, and August. I wanted to just point this out so that way you guys know that we are expecting an above average hurricane season. So this is actually just the precipitation outlook. NOAA already released their outlook for hurricanes, and it is above average, of course. No shocker there, but the precipitation, you can see they are expecting above average out there in the southeastern United States. This includes all the way from Texas all the way up to Maine. So just make sure you guys have that hurricane preparedness plan ready to go just in case you do end up seeing a hurricane. So, I mean, this ends up probably going to be for most of the Gulf states as an above average hurricane season. So here's the CPC outlook from June 5th all the way to June 18th. For June 5th through the 11th, we've got a little area of just a small potential development region around the realms of 20% out there in the Eastern Pacific. I'm pretty surprised they don't have that at least up towards the Yucatan, but you can see as we go to the 12th, they do push that into the Yucatan. I feel like they'll change this a little bit. There's still, like I said, some uncertainties, of course, regarding this pattern that's going to be developing. It's just an area to keep an eye on at the moment. It shouldn't be a tropical storm or a hurricane. There should still be wind shear in place. We're in the early, very early stages of hurricane season, so I don't see this being that big of an issue. So just keep that in mind. This is just a tropical update real quick. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to have to be live here in about 10 minutes. So let's hope this video is out at 5 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next tropical update. We'll plan for a tropical update on the 5th. However, knowing me, it's probably going to be later, but we'll plan for June 5th for the next tropical update. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, watch severe weather, and watch the tropics. Goodbye.